Hello, I am Keyoka, the Awkward Black Nomad. I'm a writer, I'm a dog mom, and I travel solo. My channel is a place for me to talk about my experiences bopping around with my two dogs, Frank and Bernie. And it's also a place where I chat with other Black travelers all around the world so we can hear their experiences living and traveling abroad. Today, I have a special guest. Let me bring her up.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. You look so cozy with your mug.
Oh, yes. Gotta have the tea. Gotta have the vibes right. It's the end of the week.
Yeah. So Meesh, can you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Hey, y'all. I'm Meesh. Meesh.eco, eco like the earth. I'm a global dweller who has lived in 10 countries across 5 continents for over a decade. And I live and share my unconventional lifestyle, which is centered on harmony, wellness, and slow living abroad. And I now have a coaching business, Teach Thrive Abroad, where I help educators and creators design their lives overseas where they can work less, make more, and live well. And I'm also a DJ and dog mama and digital creator. I'm happy to be here.
I love that, and I'm happy to have you here. And as you guys filter in the room, please drop down in the comment section. Black folk, we speak when we come into the room. Don't come into my house and not say nothing to me, okay? Like the video and tell me hi. Hello, Black Flourishing and Free. Good morning. C Mango. That's a name I don't recognize. C Mango. Are you a new subby? I know that HM58 is a new member. Did you know that you can become a member of my YouTube channel? It is a small way for you to support the channel and let the YouTube algorithm know that this is the place where you want to be. I appreciate everybody. Good morning, Brown Girls Invest too. Buenos dias. Buenos tardes.
Buenas.
She's in Mexico. She's in Mexico.
Oh, amazing.
Hi,
Love
Khadijah.
Mexico.
Khadijah, I have I got your email. I'm gonna respond to it. But thank you for joining me today.
You
How
got a
you?
whole crew.
A little bit, a little bit. The people they show out. Okay, I love
They
y'all.
come through.
I love y'all. Yolanda is actually in Spain. She's in Zaragoza.
Okay, amazing.
Hi, Kristen. Hey, y'all. Hi. As you filter in, tell us hi. If you have any questions for my guest, please put a Q in front of your question so I can see it. Okay, so Mish, you called yourself a global dweller. Now, you know I'm a writer and I love that language. Can you tell me what global dweller means to you?
I was like, did I invent this? I don't
I feel
know.
like you did.
I kind of just put some things together, but for me, the global dweller, it feels warm and earthy and rooted, which is how I also identify as a Taurus sun, an earth sign. And so, a dweller is someone who lives in a particular place and is not just passing through. So I felt like it really aligned with the slow living. So for me, I want the global dweller to convey that I live across the globe, like I'm not just traveling, and that I inhabit places deeply. So that's where I got the term.
I love that. Khadijah also loves the name. Good morning, Octavia. So,
Hi, everyone.
so
Oh,
you
I don't
mentioned,
know if I said either. I'm in Lisbon. In case
oh yeah.
anyone happens to be here or coming through, let me know. But yeah, that's where I'm here from.
So, how did you get started traveling and also living abroad? Because you mentioned you lived in 10 countries before.
Yeah, so it started in my youth. I used to travel with my family, and I think that's where it kind of sparked my curiosity. And then I quickly realized I wanted to explore places more, like more than just a visit. So I wanted to create a life, like a daily life in different cultures. So I studied abroad a couple times in Europe and South America. And then after that, there was kind of just a natural shift towards living a more slower, intentional life abroad. And that became my lifestyle. And now that's the foundation of what I guide other people to do.
Okay, I love that. I love that. And you mentioned being a dog mom. How pet friendly is Portugal?
I feel like it's pretty pet friendly. I mean, you see dogs on the ferries and in cafes and kind of part of everyday life. That's something that is really important to me when I was deciding between where I was going to live next. It was between here and Mexico City, which Mexico City is probably the most dog friendly place I've ever experienced outside of Austin, Texas, which is like my US home. So yeah, I would say it's pet friendly, and I'm looking forward to having my rescue dog here early next year.
Yeah. Mexico City, I feel like is a little too pet friendly. Like you see dogs everywhere.
Everywhere. But that's kind
Everywhere.
of like my dream. I don't know. Like I said, like we talked about this when we had our own previous conversation, but I feel like not every dog is meant to just be that like wild and free dog that's amongst the other ones. So it's just kind of being like, mindful and aware of like their boundaries, your boundaries, and like what feels good, what the vibe is, and navigating it that way abroad.
Mm. So, because you're so well traveled, what made you settle on Portugal?
Portugal is so I had been here maybe like a decade ago, I would say. And so I really knew about I wanted this place like aligns with my values a lot, which are centered around community and curiosity and connection in like a slower pace of life. And it's just such an enchanting, vibrant city. Like if you've seen photos or you've been here, it's just pastel. It's like out of a painting, honestly. And I find people to be really friendly. I find my daily practices and rituals to be really nourishing, whether it be like cooking meals or going to the park and meditating midday. Like I just set up my lifestyle design here to be really peaceful. And ultimately, when I'm living in a place, like peace and harmony and wellness are my priorities.
Mm. Did you country shop? Did you know that you were going to essentially live abroad at some point? And then did you intentionally start looking at countries as a place to settle down?
What was the first question? Did I country shop? And what was the second one?
Did you country shop and then what did I ask you? I, did you country shop?
For this particular move?
Uh-huh.
Not really. Like I used a little bit of my astrocartography, which is like location astrology. I did a lot of like just sitting with self and just like really letting the transmissions come through. Like I'm a very big intuition person, and I had known that I wanted to leave Austin for a while. And like I said, I was deciding to here in Mexico City, and I kind of just like in my own mind, I never really wrote it out, but kind of just created kind of like pros and cons of what each location could hold. And I wasn't sure when I came here that it was going to be long term. So I gave myself 3 months to just kind of immerse and get to know the place. And then from there, I was going to make a decision about long term. So it's been in that initial time frame that I've become more sure that this will be my next long term home base.
Mm. Okay. So for anyone watching who might not be familiar with astrocartography, uh, can you explain kind of what led you to be in Portugal? Like which lines did you trace or
Yes, I'm not an expert, and it's something I'm learning about, but the line that I specifically was looking at was my Venus line, which my astrology, I don't want to get too deep into it, but being like a Taurus sun and a Libra rising, those are the two signs that are ruled by Venus. And Venus is all about like love and pleasure and beauty. And anyone who knows me knows that like having a beautiful life, like being places that are beautiful, making your life as art is something that's really like, it's just the way that I kind of live my life. So I saw that my Venus line was going through this area, and I just had a feeling that it was going to bring like a sense of romance, whether it was in dating or in like kind of that romanticizing your life kind of vibe. And so far it's all proven to be extremely accurate. So I think I did well with just picking a location that's very eclectic and enchanting, I would say.
oh, I love that for you.
Me
Hmm.
too.
Yeah. But like many people dream of actually moving abroad, but seldom do they even know how to start. So you mentioned a lot of your current place in life right now is has been built there by design, right? So like you've designed the life that you want to live. what would you say is the first step for somebody who may be wanting to follow in your footsteps? How can they start to kind of design or figure out really what life they want?
I think it really can start with clarity. I think maybe knowing where you want to go is a start, but it's more what I try to guide clients with is more like, what kind of life do you want to live day to day? That's actually why I created the "Where is your ideal move abroad" quiz, because it asks the type of questions that would really like get you thinking about like what kind of life. Like, is it about the cost of living, a sense of adventure? Are you traveling solo or with family or pets? Are you already established in your work life? Are you like, what are your priorities? Is it community? Those types of things. So I think it's really more so than just picking a location. It's having some clarity on your values and aligning your values with where you choose to live.
And I'm going to put a link to Meesh's quiz in the description of this video. And I'm also going to drop it in the comment section. So if you guys want to take the quiz, it'll be there.
Yes, if you take the quiz, definitely DM me and let me know what answer you get, because I'm really, really curious. I want you to take the quiz too, Keyoka. I want you to tell me if there's any accuracy.
Oh, I'd be curious, because I always say I never know where I want to go, because I don't know. Some people might say I have commitment issues. I don't know. It's so hard for me to figure out just one place to live. I don't know.
There's so many options.
There's so many options, and I have yet to see them all. So we'll see what happens. Okay, but when you are figuring out what you want and trying to get that clarity, what kind of mental shifts kind of need to happen for you to start thinking about living abroad living abroad as opposed to traveling abroad?
I think that for me, when I think of like thriving abroad, which is what I kind of focus on, it's not about the geography, like I mentioned, it's about the lifestyle design. And that's why I always come back to that. Is like, you need to see it not just as moving countries, but as creating a life that aligns with your values and supports your well-being. So you could kind of do like a little bit of an audit of what your current life is like what feels good for you, where are you spending the most of your time, what of those things would you kind of like to weave into your new life somewhere else, and what things are you like, this is absolutely got to go, like this is a waste of time, or it's a burnout, or I just want to not take that into my next season of life. So I would say that's like a nice mindset piece to start with, is like a connecting in with yourself, like really doing that self audit, and then aligning that, like I said, with like maybe the top 4 or 5 things that are important to you for a lifestyle that you want to lead.
What does your typical day look like in Portugal?
It varies, but I have really slow mornings, and that's something that was like a top priority to me, because I felt like in Austin I was very often rushing around. So the fact that I can like wake up slowly, I find myself staying up a lot later here too. Like in Austin, I was like a grandma that would be in bed by like 9 or 10 p.m., I would say, if I wasn't going out to like see friends or music or something. And here, I think last night I was up till 3 a.m. Doing what? Don't ask me what, but I just like, I'm on that European summer vibe, I guess, and things just kind of have shifted that way. So once I do finally get up and kind of like get the day started, I just look at what the day is going to be. Like if I have things on my calendar that I need to do, if there's going to be any clients that I'm meeting with, or other projects that I'm working on, like as a creator. And then I'm going to do my meditation. I'm going to do some kind of walk. That's my favorite thing to do in Lisbon, is walk. So I've been kind of exploring different neighborhoods to see where I might want to live next. So that's been kind of cool, just to check out different neighborhoods, whether it be like the cafes, the parks, try to find a different park. And then that's kind of the morning, like just really laid back. And then I kind of get into like a little bit more like work mode in the afternoon. And that's kind of when people come online in terms of the 6-hour time difference with the US. So like if I'm going to connect with like family or anything work related or even friends and stuff, like it's around 3 p.m. here when it's 9 a.m. there. And it kind of like gives me the opportunity to do a little bit more of like the online things, the remote things. Sometimes I just am like in my space doing work and projects, but sometimes I like to find different cafes to go to and try to explore. So in the evenings, I mean, I do have a couple girlfriends here who I lived with when I lived in Melbourne, Australia, because I was there for 5.5 years. And it just so happens that they live here. They're from different parts of Europe. And so it's been kind of nice just like having girl time, having a dinner, or I've been starting to take dance classes, yoga classes. I love live music, like as a DJ and just in general. So I try to find different venues to check out what's going on. And then it's been summer. So like I love a rooftop. Try to find a good rooftop for, that kind of vibe. And yeah, it's just been like no 2 days are the same. And even though I'm in my own routines, I feel like there is excitement to my life. Like I'm not living like I'm on vacation, but I'm also not super rigid in my schedule. And I really like that in between space.
I think that's important. So, you mentioned your friends. So, do you feel like your community there in Portugal is primarily composed of expats, or are you blending with a lot of locals, or is it kind of like mixed up?
I really try to. So my Portuguese is not, I mean, I'm humbled daily, like I'm learning it. I'm fluent in Spanish and I really thought I'd be able to come here and just pick it up a little bit better. I took a class before I came years back and then I'm on my Duolingo tip, but I'm going to get a tutor because I want to progress conversation to be conversational faster. But I try to immerse with the locals. So like I picked a neighborhood to live in that is not tourist central. Everywhere I go, almost no one speaks English. Now, Lisbon, there are a lot of people who do speak English, which is amazing. But I really wanted to like push myself a bit, like right away. So I really like was intentional about like where I wanted to live. And the friends I have, I mean, I see them on occasion, but even with them, I like, we go in between different languages. So I really try to not just rely and fall back on English as like the default. Sometimes I get flustered and I'll do that, but I really, really just like, I think people appreciate when you try. So for me, my community right now, as I'm building it, is a good combination, I would say, of like maybe 3 people I knew who I didn't know were here. So that was like a pleasant surprise, who I knew from before I moved here. And then I have been going to like some women's events. So I've like met some women through that are kind of from all over the world. And then some local women as well I've kind of met through activities. So it's been like a good mix, I would say. And I just keep practicing every day with the language. I think that's like one of the best way to meet locals is when you're able to actually like communicate with them. And there's some people who speak Portuguese who want to learn English. So again, like that's like a great exchange to have going.
How do you find events?
Instagram is like a great place to find events. Like I've followed 1 or 2 pages that are Lisbon related. And then from there, they'll be posting like in their Instagram stories about other events that are happening. And then, like I mentioned, even a couple people I knew who aren't here at the time, but lived here previously, they gave me like a nice hearty list of like cool places to check out, whether it be like reggae parties or like nights at a museum that are happening monthly, those types of things. And so I just kind of built from there. Like I had like a bit of a head start, I guess you could say. And then I've just been meeting people that are like, hey, this is happening this week. And that's one of my favorite things about being on the internet. Like it can be overwhelming, but it can also be such a gift because you can connect with so many people from anywhere, but like really quickly. And so, yeah, I'm just I wouldn't say I'm a social butterfly all the time,
That's what
but I
it's.
find that when I'm traveling, I have more of that. I have more of that desire for newness. And so I put myself out there, I think, a bit more than I typically would maybe in the States.
You know, it's so interesting that you say that because Stephanie Perry, who has been on this channel before, actually said that travel introduces you to a version of yourself that you've never met before. So maybe the version of you that lives in Portugal is a bit of a social butterfly.
I think so. She's fun. She's flirty. Yeah, it's just natural too. It's not like I think about, I want to be like this in this place and this and that place. I just notice. I think a lot of the things with traveling is about noticing. And so, yeah, so far so good.
I think also, and this is, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but just listening in comparison to like how your life was in Austin versus how it is in Portugal, it does seem like you're living sort of a less regimented life, and it's easier for a side of you that may be a little bit more social to come out and because you've been relaxing all day, you've been wandering, you've been like doing things that you probably wouldn't have been doing in Austin. Do you think that's true or?
I think it's part of being in a place like when people ask me what's the biggest difference or something I really notice is like the idea of productivity versus presence. And I feel like being in Portugal, I'm really able to like lean into being present, where in the States, I felt a lot of like get things done, like your productivity, like just being on it. And sometimes there wasn't so much of like a switch off. I mean, I was able to check out when I needed to check out, but I just felt like the overall environment or atmosphere was more about like doing versus here it's more like being. So I would say that's a huge thing that I've noticed. And I know we've talked before about like the nervous system, and it just feels like so regulated and relaxed here. And anytime I talk to anyone, they just say like, I can just like feel your joy, like you just feel radiant, like you just feel so serene. And I'm like, those are the words that I want people to associate with myself. Like that's how I want to feel internally. So the fact that there's an external component to it that people can see or appreciate is just like more confirmation of what I'm living.
Yes. Yes. I love that. Hi Double T. Hola. Hola and
Hola.
locating coast
Hey.
says I usually wake up at about 7 a.m. here in Spain, so that can be a good time to catch up with my late night friends in the US. So speaking of your friends in the US, you mentioned like people say that you look more serene, you seem like you're relaxed, you seem happy, they can see the joy in you. Have you inspired any of your friends in the US to leave the country?
Girl, I mean, that's how I started my business. That's how I started Teach Thrive Abroad is I kept having people, I mean, it's happened over the years before it was a formal business. People would ask me for tips, you know, because I've been to like over 30 countries and they've been like, I'm going here. What do you know? Or who do you know? Like those types of things. But that's when I realized I could really make this unconventional lifestyle business as a move abroad coach because people were always coming to me asking me how I did it, whether it was like the details of like the actual logistics or the mindset pieces, because they know I really center wellness in the travel sphere. So yes, I have inspired multiple people, or I've been part of their inspiration to pursue slow travel or to live abroad. And I encourage anyone that feels that gentle nudge or really strong pull to explore that, because I think there's a reason that you're like follow the feeling.
Mm. What kind of, when people are contacting you for your Teach Thrive Abroad services, what kind of things are they saying that are kind of nudging them forward? Like what are they describing?
Well, because I started out centering educators and creators, I taught English abroad in 4 countries, and I got certified to teach English abroad pretty much right after university, after college. So that was like a lane that I felt really comfortable in supporting people with. And so I knew, and so I also worked at a nonprofit in Austin for a couple of years that was kind of partnered up with schools, like underserved communities, mostly elementary schools. And so I kind of saw what was happening in the schools with the teachers. And they were coming to me just saying like how overworked they were, how burnt out they were, how they didn't have time to like cook themselves dinner. how they felt like they didn't have any time for a social life. Just like that sense of like 40 hours a week or that 9 to 5 grind isn't for everyone. And I think it's just the structure and the format that we're kind of presented is like, this is just like what you move into. This is like the way of being. So I think people came to me just looking for a way out, like just kind of fed up with their current situation, just like whether it was the cost of living or their energetic cost, like it really takes a toll on you. And I think when you're just doing the same thing habitually every single day, you have to be the one to kind of like break the cycle, because otherwise like years just go by and you're like living for retirement. You're living for this future. You're living for like this one day mentality. And I think people have reached out to me. They're just like, okay, like whether it be political or financial or emotional, they're just like, I'm ready to get out of here. How can we make this happen? And just showing them the possibilities. Like there's just like we talked about, there's so many options.
Mm-hmm. I often, in the travel space, I often hear people talking about all of the benefits of living outside the US, but are there any misconceptions that you could speak to about the reality of what it's like to live as an expat?
I mean, I do think people think living abroad is like being on vacation forever, which is definitely not the case. Like it is real out here. It's not sunshine and rainbows every single day. I think for me, or in general, like establishing your own like sense of wellness and routines and values-based living can kind of help with that. But I think some people think like all their problems will go away if they just move to a new location. I think that you hear that all the time, and I have not found that to be true. And I don't know anyone else who's lived abroad long term who has found that to be true. So I think there's still like an element of like the novelty and the excitement in some ways will start to diminish, and you'll settle into more of your everyday life. And so I think it's really important, again, to come back to the lifestyle design, because things are going to start to look the same after a certain amount of time anywhere that you live if you're there long enough. So I think it's just like, what are your priorities, and kind of like knowing that up front. So I think it's not just me meditating all day in the park every day. Like I still have bills, and I have responsibilities, and I have goals, and I have relationships that I'm trying to grow. And I think, yeah, it's a misconception that like I'm just at the beach all day, every day, or like I'm not doing anything. And it's just like, that's the dream life. That's not personally like my dream life.
I also have come in contact with some of my friends thinking that I'm like flippant, like the way that I live my life. Like I'm just like, oh, she's just abroad all the time. Like she's throwing money away, or she's just playing around with her life. And I'm like, what? Shouldn't we all be playing around with our lives, first of all? Like, if this is the one life, shouldn't we play with it a little bit?
Period.
But there's that saying, like, no matter where you go, there you are. And I think that's very true. Like, whatever issues that you're dealing with in the US or back home, wherever that is, no matter where you go, no matter how long you stay there, those same issues are probably going to be there if you don't work at whatever the problem is. So like I often talk about my mental health on the channel. So like I have depression, and no matter where I am, yes, I might be happier, or I might be like more social, or whatever it is. I do still have down days, right? So like I feel like if I'm going to have a down day, might as well be in the south of France. You know what I mean? Like why be in Texas if I'm going to be
I love it. That sounds great to me.
Yeah. And I love this concept you have about designing the life that you want. So like thinking about the things that bring you joy, and then just going and adding more of that into your life, right? No matter where you are. So like if you like to meditate in the park, like incorporating some of that in your life. Key Love, who is not me. It's not an alter ego, by the way, but I feel like she is me. But she says Portugal is an interesting experience, but the food is extremely delicious. But they need a cheesecake factory in Lisbon for me to move there. Kayla, we've been over this. Although I've heard that there's a cheesecake factory in Hong Kong, the fact that Cheesecake Factory is the pinnacle of your culinary experiences, I'm concerned. I'm a little concerned.
Maybe
Okay.
it's her comfort food, which
Okay.
no judgment.
I'm judging. She's not judging. I'm judging. Just kidding. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
But speaking of comfort food, like while you out there in Portugal, like do you have any go-to comfort foods?
I mean, they have a lot of good seafood here. So because I went a really long time without eating meat, I'd say maybe like 4 or 5 years. And then I slowly started eating fish again. Then I started eating meat again. And so here it's just nice. It's really fresh. So I feel like I cook a lot, but very simple things. So I don't know if I have like one specific comfort food, but just like I love a good potato, some kind of fish, some kind like I just, I think, yeah, those are the things that are coming to mind right now. But honestly, even in the States, I'm trying to think like, do I have comfort food? I guess like my mom's mac and cheese or like maybe my favorite tacos or something, but like I'm not a big comfort food gal. Actually, that's not true. My grandma's sweet potato pie. And there's nothing else. There's no pastel de nata that's gonna compare to that. But I do love a sweet treat here.
Do you miss anything from the US?
Just loved ones. That be including animals in that category. I thought about this the other day. Like, do I miss my house? Because I own a house in Austin. And I've really slowly and intentionally gotten different furniture and different pieces and art and just like really, really make it my own. And I thought about the other day, I was like, do I miss my house? Because I was looking at some photos and I was like, no, I don't. I don't miss it. I think I just miss like loved ones, family, friends, animals. Those are the top things I would say. But even when I've spent, like I said, I think I spent like close to 14 years abroad. The longest I've been away at one time was 15 months. So I've always made sure to like come back to the States and visit, or they've come visit me wherever I was living. So that helps a lot. Like next year, my family is probably going to come to Portugal. So it's just nice to show people what kind of life you created somewhere else, and then like get to have that shared experience. And I send them photos, we have a regular chat going, that kind of thing. So I feel really connected no matter the distance. That's never really been something that's held me back from living elsewhere.
I love that your family will come and visit you. I don't have that.
They say they will. I mean, my mom tried to act like she wasn't going to like a week ago. And I was like, you flew 15 hours to Australia. You can make it like 6 or 7 hours to Lisbon. So she'll come. If everyone else is coming, I have like a little niece who every single time I FaceTime with her, she's like, Titi Meesh, where are you? Because my sister's been showing her on the map and she's like, I want to go to Portugal. I'm like, I'm not that auntie if I do not get my niece to Portugal next year. So that's like a top priority.
It's like you've entered a new level. Now you have to be like the international auntie. Like you have to introduce the niece to international travel. Absolutely.
Have to. She had her passport at like 6 months and's already been to Jamaica and some other places. So I'm like, you're already living a life. But yes, I'm looking forward to having that bond with her of travel. And I feel like I have that bond with a lot of close people is travel. It's like if we're going to like maybe take a quick trip together, if they're not able to do like a longer term something, I always like to just throw it out there that, I'm available.
Has travel ever broken up a relationship before?
No. I mean, I've had 4 long-term relationships and 2 of those were abroad.
Not romantic. I just meant in general, like a girl's trip. You realize that your friend isn't the kind of traveler that you are, like travel incompatibility.
Oh, no, because I don't do group trips. I'm not that kind of person. I'll travel with like one or two other people. I
Mhm.
like solo traveling and maybe one or two other people, and those other people I know I'll vibe with. So no, I haven't had any of that experience. Have you?
Yes.
Oh,
And I don't care to share. But
okay. Next. Like moving on. Literally sips tea.
because it's I'm new to traveling. Like I only started traveling maybe like 3 years ago, right? So I'm figuring out what I like and what I don't like about the travel experience, right? And so I've come to terms with the fact that I'm not a group trip girly, right? Like I definitely am more of an independent explorer, and that's okay. That's okay. I know where you guys are. I'll come sometimes. It's fine.
I love that though, because that's what's really about, just discovering yourself. Like you're learning more about yourself in the process, and like, if not, what else? Like, what else is the purpose of being out here? So I feel like you know where you're at, and I know where I'm at too. I mean, there's some people I absolutely would not travel with, and I consider them to be people that I'm close to, but I just know like a trip, especially a trip abroad, would not be it. But I think, yeah, it's just learning that.
Yeah, and I think travel is one of those things that people are really particular about, like not being in their home, like accommodations, activities, like people are very specific. And so if you aren't matched well, it could be disastrous. Okay. I want to save relationships. I want to save friendships. The friendships that I have, I want to keep them. So,
Yes, absolutely.
yes. Locating Cozy says living abroad is not a vacation. It's an opportunity to adjust and address. Adjust from the high stress expectations and address trauma, no matter how small you think it is. I love that.
Mm,
I love that.
it is an opportunity for sure. I like that a lot.
Yeah, adjust and address. Hmm. So we talked a little bit about you wandering around to different neighborhoods in Portugal. So like if somebody is looking at Portugal for a potential country to live in, how do you recommend they find housing?
I mean, there's a lot of different avenues. I was recommended like a WhatsApp group and a Facebook group that like some people I had known could vouch for. I mean, again, you have to be mindful with anything on the internet because the scammers be scamming. But I think there's a lot of sites and stuff that will have short-term rentals, so like 3 month to 6 month, and then like longer-term rentals. But I found my place on a site called Flatio, Flatio, and it like makes it like a formal rental contract, and then you have like kind of like the built-in insurance and all of those types of things. So I liked going that route just to see photos. Sometimes they have reviews. It's kind of like the US version of Furnish Finder, if you've heard of that,
Nice.
or like an Airbnb type thing, but a little bit different because it's more for longer term. But yeah, I say, and the other one is Idealista. And I think Flatio and Idealista are two pretty, I would say, overall trustworthy places to find accommodation. Of course, there's tons of hotels here, and there is Airbnb here if you want to do like a month-long rental just to try on the place and see and kind of go from there. Those might be a little bit more expensive, but I think they offer a lot of flexibility.
Mhm. Any recommendations on neighborhoods that people should check out
Ooh, for living?
for living or even visiting?
So Alfama is the oldest neighborhood in Lisbon, and that's like a really popular one. It's along the Tagus River. So I really think it's just so nice to like be along the river, kind of just like walk along the promenade and just like the cobblestone roads everywhere. These hills are a lot, but that area just makes it just feels so magical over there. I mean, I obviously in the summer there's a ton of tourists. I've heard things start to quiet down here soon, but I think Alfama, just because of like the tradition, and that would be a great place to start. Okay, my favorite garden, it's called Jardim de Estrella, And it's in this area called Estrella. And I think that area is really nice and it's really green. I like living somewhere that I can kind of have like a center green space to go to on a regular basis, and people will be there. There's like an area for having like a tea or coffee restaurant, that kind of thing, playground for kids and dogs and people doing yoga and people having, I don't know what they have. It's kind of, I guess, like an acro yoga. I've seen people doing like, have you ever seen that before? Like partner yoga or different like partner practices. Oh, someone in the live probably knows what that is. Where you like lift people up and
oh yeah, I've seen that. I've never tried that, but I've seen
but
it.
then they'll be doing that, and then they'll be juggling, and then they'll be, I think they like come and it's kind of like a creativity circle where they're like doing different activities every week. So that seems kind of cool. But yeah, I think those are two. Grasa is cool. There are like these really cool lookout points that you can find. And then, those are some of the ones that are coming to mind right now. Yeah, Campo de Ariqui has like a really cool mercado. And I feel like that gives you like a good balance between like the west and the east of town. But yeah, I'm still getting to know more of them.
Okay. Locating coast, says the hills in Lisbon is a major reality check. How are your kneecaps out there?
I have these Teva sandals that are my standard. I actually have like a tan on my feet from wearing them every single day, and they are not it here. Like I've almost slipped multiple times on the hills. The knees are okay, but it's just like not every neighborhood is like that, but like you need to, I mean, your cardio will improve. I will say that. I don't want to deter anyone. Yes. Like you'll get a workout just from walking around.
Well, what kind of shoes do you recommend?
I mean, I still wear them. I still wear my sandals every day, but I also have like some runners, some like sneakers, that kind of thing. So it just depends. But sometimes I want to like look cute and wear my wedges, and I just have to give myself extra time.
Is there anything that you feel like you gave up when you decided to live abroad?
No.
Okay, so you still wear heels.
I know that. I never wore heels, so that was easy.
I feel like I gave up heels. I gave up makeup. I never really wore makeup, but I was trying. Now I'm like, no, I don't want to.
I never really knew how to do makeup.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll throw on some like, a little bronzer or something. But yeah, I never really knew how to do makeup. And so it just is what it is. For me, if I'm going to be like fancy, I'll put my contacts in and maybe do like a little updo with my hair or something. But other than that, I mean, like this lemon dress is the extent of it.
That's what I did today, but it's because I worked out. So my fancy.
That's the thing. You got to like figure it out for yourself. So we've got our different versions.
Right. Sure. Okay. If someone watching this has, Key Love has a question. Are you me, Key Love? Are you me? Have you visited Porto or Cascais?
Yes, I haven't gone to Porto yet, but I have been to Cascais. Cascais, I think that's how you say it. But not this time. I was here for a while in 2016, and I went and did some other travel around Lisbon then. So it's a really cute beach town. It's really close to Lisbon. I think it's a really popular place if you want to live like just outside of the city. And then Porto looks to be really, really beautiful as well. I have a friend there I want to visit, but I haven't gone yet. Have you gone, Key Love?
I haven't. I don't know if Key Love has.
Okay.
Porto is on my list. I have a friend in Porto, and she also told me that, like, for my dogs, it's a much calmer environment. And it's very cool. So I am interested in Porto. I was going to ask, what advice would you have for someone watching this who may want to replicate your move to Portugal, but they are a little fearful, a little doubtful about being able to live abroad?
I mean, I think the advice I would give is the advice we can use in a lot of different areas and categories of our lives, which is to start small and that you don't have to know everything before you begin. I think the curiosity is enough to take the first step. So like I mentioned before, if you're feeling something in your intuition or like a curiosity, then I think you should pursue it. I mean, I also offer free 20-minute curiosity calls because I think just talking it out with someone can really help you see like what is the actual interest there, like what is the actual pull, and then you can move into more of the logistical piece. So I think it can help just to get a little bit more clarity about what type of change you're actually seeking. So I think just making like the decision to take that first small step. And then you can work on building up more of the confidence, whether it be financially or socially or the other pieces that feel a little bit more daunting or overwhelming for people. But you don't have to have it all figured out before you go. I think I wouldn't say completely wing it, but I wouldn't say like be so structured with yourself that you just keep dreaming about it every single year that it gets away from you. So I think, yeah, start small.
I love that advice. Key Love says, I'm a Gen X auntie Keyoka. So you're Keyoka senior. Then you're the version before. And she's learning some Portuguese too. Beautiful.
Tudo bem.
Beautiful. So what has travel taught you about yourself?
I feel like that I can create harmony wherever I am, that home isn't a place, that it's literally wherever I am. It's my lifestyle. It's built through connection. My highest value is connection. So I'm always prioritizing that wherever I go. And I really feel like I'm expanding and learning and growing all the time, which I think all of us are, but it's a different, deeper level for me that I find when I'm in different environments and different cultures and different languages and different sites and all of these things that really allow me to stretch myself a little bit more and to, yeah, like just be more of myself or be like, experience different versions, different layers of myself that I think only would have happened had I started to travel.
I love that for you.
Me
Yvonne,
too,
better late than never. She's also a Taurus, you guys.
I love it. Are you an April or a May Taurus? I'm May the 4th. May the 4th be with you.
Oh my God. I actually know her birthday. I'm looking at my calendar. She's May 15th.
Oh, awesome. We love the Mayflowers, the May babies.
Yes, Taurus is in the room. Yeah, May. Well, Meesh, I appreciate you coming down to the channel for an amazing conversation. I appreciate you guys watching. If you have not liked the video, what are we doing? Like the video. If you're catching the replay, definitely like the video, right? Drop down in the comment section. Are you dreaming of Portugal? Is that a place where you could see yourself living your best life like Meesh here? Again, thank you all for watching. Meesh, thank you for joining me. And peace out. Y'all have a beautiful weekend. I'll see you tomorrow. Actually, I'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central. I'm interviewing Sean from Vietnam. She's in Vietnam, everybody. So that's why it's a little late. Okay. But
You're on a roll. You're on a roll. Have you done like 4 interviews this week?
You guys won't see me next week.
Oh, so that's why I see. I see. Get it while it's hot.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for having me. I just wanted to mention that I will have an episode coming out with Keyoka on my channel on YouTube, and it is about freedom abroad with your fur babies. So how Keyoka's been able to travel abroad with her 2 dogs, Frank and Bernie. So if you want to follow me on YouTube, that interview will drop in October. I'm super excited about it. And you can book a free curiosity call or take the quiz. That's like the main thing I'm curious about is where is your ideal move abroad? And thank you so much for having me.
Yes, and Meesh's contact information, her YouTube channel, her Instagram, and her website are going to be in the description of this video. So keep in touch, you guys. Until next time, stay Black. Peace out.
Paz y amor.